Nalin Kohli as well of the BJP joining us on the phone line. Mr. Kohli, here's a word coming in from Kirti Azad of the TMC who says this is sanctum sanctorum. A dressing room can't be a place for just anybody to walk in. It's unfortunate that Prime Ministers use this opportunity to enter the dressing room and wish those players. What would you respond to that?
Several things to be said. The first being that he is the Honorable Prime Minister of India. He is not anybody. He is the person elected by the country to hold the office of the Prime Minister, which is the highest office of the land in terms of an elected representative, the one who runs the executive. The Honorable President of India is the Supreme Commander of the forces and the President, and therefore, constitutionally, the government runs in his or her name. But the Prime Minister is not anybody. So therefore, if someone goes ahead and calls the Honorable Prime Minister and anybody, then that person needs to pick up her books on civics or perhaps look at the Constitution and update their education and knowledge about what, constitutional posts and other things are. Second, if the Honorable Prime Minister is there and encouraging a citizen of the country, and in this case, the Indian cricket team, why should a positive gesture be brought under any criticism? As far as the opposition parties are concerned, they have a running agenda to run down everything and anything that Prime Minister Narendra Modi does. So that is born out of their visceral dislike for the Honorable Prime Minister. It's not born out of any cogent arguments. 3, interaction between the Honorable Prime Minister and players is not a first thing. If one of these leaders who is taking so much trouble to put out these words just went to the Honorable Prime Minister's timeline and followed all the time that the Honorable Prime Minister has tweeted to encourage players individually when they're outside the country, congratulate them, motivate them in case they've not won a medal, and interacted with them, it's been an ongoing exercise. It's borne by the fact that he is encouraging sport because Khelo India is a program of the government that is to build sport, and India's sports capabilities are improving under Prime Minister Modi.
Well,
so
I did speak with one of those leaders of the TMC, Kirti Azad, who says he's a cricketer himself. He knows the well-defined rules in the book that does not allow for anyone to enter the dressing room apart from the players, not even Kapil Dev. That's what Kirti Azad says. What changes that rule for Prime Minister Modi? Your take?
Well, let me give a counter-argument to that. The rules of during a game and the rules after a game are very different. Let me take an example. Nobody enters the studio of a channel where you as an anchor are reading a bulletin or asking me questions. But at a certain point, somebody else can also enter it. It may not be a guest, it may not be a technical person. There's no prohibition in that sense. Is there anything that specifically prohibits the Prime Minister from going there? Is there anything that specifically prohibits it after the game is over, after the cup is distributed, at the time when people have to go home? So circumstance, timing, all of it are relevant. Kirti Azad's argument is born out of politics, perhaps less out of sportsmanship.
Well, finally, you had also Kirti Azad who took a jibe against Prime Minister Modi not visiting the female wrestlers who hurled allegations of sexual abuse at a BJP MP. So far, no condolences going out to them, but here's the Prime Minister Modi who arrives to wish the men in blue. That parity.
He was there at the program, wasn't he? He attended it. He was there witnessing the match. He wasn't there at that venue, as Mr. Kirti Azad is trying to make a wrong comparison. You compare apples with apples and oranges with oranges. Not two different sets of examples. And we must thank Mr. Kirti Azad because that very comment of his confirms that his comments and criticism of the Honorable Prime Minister's very positive move is actually born only by politics, nothing else.
All right. Nalin Kohli, thank you very much for joining us with those comments. Prime Minister Modi there meeting with the men in blue. It clearly has now run into a controversy with the opposition saying it was the players are feeling uncomfortable with Prime Minister Modi there inside their dressing room.